What is up, football fans? This is Play Action Takes presented by Apollo Media. This podcast is brought to you by Zing Zang's Blazing Bloody Mary Mix. If you haven't already, go get yourself some Zing Zang's Blazing Bloody Mary Mix. My family's been drinking it for years. Your family should too. Go get it today. And then this podcast is also brought to you by Celebrity Mint. Go check them out on celebritymint.com. Go check out the collectibles of Mike Tyson, Ric Flair, and more. Got some awesome stuff there. Let's play action takes. We're going to talk some football. Week 14 hasn't concluded yet. We're recording this Monday, December 11th. I am going to the Miami Dolphins game tonight, so I'm still here in sunny Miami. But a lot of football was played, and I'm here with two sad Texans fans who just recorded off the gridiron.
I hate myself. I hate myself for thinking we can win.
It's going to be nice, Stoney, I bet, to go to a game where it won't be 40 degrees, 30 miles per hour winds, and raining the whole time. I bet that's going to be nice.
Well, to counterpoint that, it's going to be 63 and chilly. I'm going to have to wear a hoodie to the game. It's going to be really cold here in Miami.
Oh, boo-hoo. You're going to wear a hoodie. You're going to wear a hoodie. I wore an undershirt, a lightweight jacket, okay, and then also had to wear a scarf and a poncho. All right? Get over yourself, dude. And then I watched my team, my 7-5 good Houston Texans team in the playoff race, lose to Mormon ass Zach Wilson, bro. Little Mormon, he threw 301 yards, dude, and he can have 8 wives too. That's like the rule they have. He can do that. Like all that sounds pretty rad, actually. But he sucks. He sucks, dude.
Stoney, have you seen Oppenheimer yet?
No, I haven't. Not a movie guy. Y'all are the movie guys.
There's a scene where he's talking to fucking Truman, and he's fucking Oppenheimer is like, I can't believe we did that. You know, talking about the thing, and Truman pulls out like a Kleenex and goes, That's what I'm fucking doing to you right now. Like 63 and chilly, I get to watch the number one seed, the potential number one seed, the AFC, and I'm just.
So what y'all are saying?
Go watch your MVP wide receiver in good weather.
So what y'all are saying is it's not a good time to joke with y'all.
You could joke with us.
You can joke. Right. I don't care, dude.
Okay.
I don't care.
I will. I'll take it. I'll take my licks.
Well, thank you to Zing Zang and Celebrity Mint for sponsoring this episode. Let's talk about some crybabies real quick. Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
Andy Reid. Why are we complaining? You should be complaining about the player that made a mistake that caused the penalty, or you should be complaining to yourselves for not scoring more points in the first half and going down 14-0 automatically and only allowing 6 points in the second half. Great. Your offense didn't do enough. Then you have the one play that actually worked, but you made a mistake. One of your players made a mistake. Don't yell at the refs. Yell at the player.
Here's the deal. Yeah. If Kadarius Toney if it was just like a centimeter, right, offsides, if it was like, oh, come on, just let him play type of, I get it. I get being mad. Especially after last week's like non-PI call with Valdez-Scantling. Like I get that. Dude, Kadarius Toney was damn near playing defense. I mean, he was on the other side of the ball. So like, what it looks like at that point is like Chiefs privilege is what it looks like. It looks like Mahomes privilege, and it looks like Andy Reid privilege. They're mad because all these calls, and they get calls their way all the time because they're the NFL's little golden boys. Now they're pissed, and Mahomes is trying to fight the ref. He's trying to physically fight the ref. What are we doing?
I don't know if he was trying to like fist fight the ref.
I mean, well, look, if you're being held back, I think you want to touch him at least. You want to get in his face. Like, what are we doing?
That's fighting words for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like getting fighting actions, I'd say.
Yeah.
I've always loved Patrick Mahomes. He was like my draft crush coming out of Tech. I was like fucking love him. You know, him going off and always like just being the most unbelievable quarterback I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, yeah, that's fucking awesome. Dude, he has been such a weeper. this year, I feel like. And on top of that, what he did at midfield when he went up to Josh Allen, said, bullshit, the most stupidest fucking call I've ever seen or whatever, fucking bullshit and stuff. Josh Allen literally was just like, okay. Like patted him on the chest and like kept walking. Because like, what do you think Josh Allen's gonna do? Be like, man, that was stupid, man. I agree. Y'all should have won. Like, what?
Yeah,
like
I see that. I see that as like Mahomes. I don't think Mahomes was like trying to be an asshole or anything, but obviously him and Josh are, especially at this point in their careers, close. Or maybe not close, but they're buddies. They play against each other a lot. Obviously, they've been talked about in the same caliber of quarterbacks. It's a lot of debating on, like, not really debating, but people put them together as maybe the two best quarterbacks in the league. So they obviously know each other, and that was Mahomes kind of just being like, when you play a game of Madden with your buddy and you're like, that was bullshit at the end, it. Like, but still, I don't think Mahomes was like trying to be a dick, but it just came off really weird, especially midfield. Don't do that right after the game. Like, it was really stupid, and the Chiefs really embarrassed themselves with that whole everything that happened last night was really
it was so cringy to watch him fucking go to Josh Allen and cry. Like, no one does that. No one does that. Cry on the sidelines, sure. Cry in the presser, sure.
Yeah.
Go on and do it. Go on to do the fucking handshakes after game and fucking crying about it to the other team, to the other star quarterback. What, dude? Shut the fuck up. Shut up, Patrick. You fucking privileged, ref privileged.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, the press conference was awful. Talking about Travis Kelce's Hall of Fame career, you just took that away from it, a Hall of Fame moment, yada, 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 whatever. He's mad at the refs. He said it's a bullshit call. The ref is supposed to let the wide receiver know. Correct. The problem is Kadarius Toney looked forward the entire time. Didn't have any intention of looking at either sideline or even the ball. Like, no intention. And it's the second time this season that it's been called on him. It's not the first. They've called it 11 times this year, and the previous 3 seasons, they've called offensive offsides twice. They've called it 11 times this year. It is a point of emphasis. It is what referees are trying to enforce. Why are you bitching about a rule? Because if it's offside for the defense on that play, you decline it, and it's a touchdown, and you're not bitching at the refs for calling offsides. Quit bitching at the refs for calling offsides, because if you called it the other way, you wouldn't say anything. And the Bills wouldn't either, because they're like, well, fuck, we lined up offsides. Yeah. It's a rule.
I mean, it's a rule, and what's the ref supposed to do? Go, Kadarius!
Yeah.
You're offsides! Like, he's not looking. Well, the ref's going to be like, he's not looking. That's
if he's not checking, if he doesn't check
like, what are they supposed to do? They're not trying to help you out that much, Patrick, okay?
Yeah.
The refs are not there to help you. They're not there to help you. They're there to enforce rules, all right? Yeah. And when you cry about them not helping you is wild.
I get complaining about shitty calls. I do. Like, I think if there's a shitty call that's either not called or called, either way, if it's a shitty call, I get complaining. I get going to the presser and being like, that was bullshit. I respect it. But in that situation where it was so obvious that, one, Kadarius Toney was offsides, and 2, that he's a bad football player, I think both of those things really go hand in hand with each other. Sorry, Pat, I get it. I get you have no help. I get Kelce's the only thing you have right now in that offense. But just because it's not working out in your favor every time doesn't mean you get to try to fight the ref on the sideline and go to the fucking sideline and tell every fucking body in the world that play is going to keep Kelce, the 2-time Super Bowl champ, maybe the second best tight end ever, out of the Hall of Fame. What are you doing?
What are you even talking about? What? That's just like fucking weeping. Wham. What? He's a Hall of Famer, all right? What? He's not going to be a Hall of Famer.
Wrap it up, dude. He did it. He's done.
Fucking stupid.
It was egregious to watch. Patrick Mahomes this season has been yelling at the refs nonstop. Like, in the NBA, this happens a lot. Superstars get superstar calls, and when they stop getting superstar calls, they get pissed off and they yell at the refs. I get that. But for someone to make the correct call because a player chose not to, like, check in with the ref, essentially, before the play started, I get not wanting to dog your guy in the presser. So don't dog the refs.
Yeah.
Talk to Kadarius, look at the film, be like, dude, you fucking lined up a whole yard offside. What are we doing?
Yeah.
I mean, your foot was over the fucking line. His foot was over the fucking line.
Like, not even, it wasn't just a little bit. It was so much, dude. Like it was a full
yard.
His foot was like a full foot past the goddamn ball. Like, I'm sorry. You can't, that's on you.
I saw his foot hadn't been there, his head would have been there. His head was lined up with the ball. They would have called it for that if his foot was still behind the ball.
And it's like, I get it. I get it if you're a fan of your team and this happens to your team. But Chiefs fans on Twitter right now are like, this is fucking bullshit. I'm like, dude, y'all are out of your mind. And y'all are out of your mind. The refs are fucking... Last week, yes, y'all got fucked by the refs. I will give you that. But this does not mean you get to keep, oh, it's rigged. Like, no. Wrap it up. If you're a Chiefs fan, zip it. Like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Ridiculous.
I don't want to fucking hear shit from you. I don't want to hear shit from y'all. God damn it.
It's awful. We'll move on to another game that we thought was going to be a game of the week, potentially one or two. Sunday Night Football, Cowboys versus Eagles, heated rivalry in Dallas. The Dallas Cowboys have now won 15 straight games at home. Cowboys beat the Eagles 33-13, and it was just never even a contest.
No.
Genuinely.
Those Cowboys are looking good.
Cowboys are damn good.
We were saying, all right, well, they have this gauntlet coming up of really good teams, and it starts with the Eagles at home. What can they do? They did exactly what they've been doing. Passing game. The passing game has been in an unbelievable rhythm. I mean, Dak looks like the front runner for MVP. And the defense is so good. We already knew that. But them both being so good together, maybe a juggernaut in when you have to go and play them at AT&T.
Of course. When you got to play them anywhere, but especially, I mean, like Stoney said, 15 straight wins at home at AT&T Stadium you can't argue with that. I'm really looking at the Eagles, man. I mean, the Cowboys they've kind of already proved to me that they were really good. This proved to me that they're probably, I'd say, the front runner to win the Super Bowl at the moment. I mean, I don't know who else. I mean, the Chiefs just lost to the Bills. The Chiefs have nothing. They're exploding. The Dolphins, maybe. I mean, the Niners, and when you look at the NFC, the Niners are really good, but even they struggled with the Seahawks there for a little bit yesterday. It ended up being, but in that first half, it was like, what the fuck's going on? It was a slow start. I think the Cowboys are very capable of beating the Niners right now. I think that would be a really good, damn good game. But I think right now the Cowboys might be a better team. And, I mean, I don't know. I don't know who can really beat them right now. And I don't know. I'm excited for them. I'm excited for Cowboys fans. But I'm looking at the Eagles right now like, what the fuck are y'all doing? What's going on? They look cooked. They have absolutely nothing going. The second I said Jalen Hurts was the MVP, he just started playing like shit. He started being some average Joe. And I don't know.
That's the Noah curse.
I know. It's what happened to the Niners. I said the Niners are going to win every game. And then they lost 3 straight. So now I guess the Cowboys, I'm going to say this, Cowboys are the best team in football. I don't know who can beat them. If they lose a couple games now, we got to look into this. We have to get studied.
So I think with the Cowboys winning last night, gave them a chance to win the division and a chance at the 1 seed technically, but they would need help. They would need to win out, and the Eagles have to lose one more. The Eagles still hold like every tiebreaker essentially for the NFC East, so it looks like the Cowboys might just solidify themselves as the 5 seed, which isn't the worst thing because then you don't get any home games, but you get to play the NFC South in the first round. Whoever becomes right now, it's the Buccaneers, could be the Falcons, could be the Saints. Still, like you're going to go to one of those 3 teams to play your first playoff game. But the offense, like you said, is rolling, and I think the pass game has been incredible for a large majority of this stretch.
Yeah.
The thing that I noticed last night was the run game. They were getting 7, 8, 9, 12 yards a carry on the Eagles defense that has defensive linemen out the ass. Like Fletcher Cox even looked incredible last night, but they couldn't do anything against the run. It was a very strange game to watch from the Eagles' perspective because the offense looks hurt. The secondary just did not cover anyone. for whatever reason. They couldn't cover anyone. And then defensive line, they were getting a little bit of pressure, but they couldn't stop the run. It was just a confusing game all around for the Eagles. They look out of sync. They look hurt. They look tired, which they've played a lot of really hard games in a very short amount of time, like on short rest. Then you get a Sunday night football game in Dallas. It's a tough stretch, but there's no excuses in the NFL. So it's interesting. It's very interesting. I think the Cowboys are still going to end up in the 5 seed, but
I mean,
they do have some hard games. We'll see. If they can play like that.
It began with the Eagles, their gauntlet. They handled them pretty well. Yeah. If they go into Buffalo next week, I believe they play Buffalo next week.
I think that sounds right. In Buffalo,
yeah, I think you're right.
And then Miami,
yeah. So these next 2 weeks, if they go in and handle, handle Buffalo, man. I mean, we are talking about this is like the number 2 seed in the NFC, winning their division, and like I said last week, setting up the 49ers and Dallas Cowboys NFC Championship game in San Fran. It's gonna happen. It's going to happen because, the Eagles look human. The Cowboys do not right now. And it's the most important time to –
The Eagles are very human right now. The Eagles, they're a solid team, obviously. They're really good. But they're like I said this last week, but they got some problems. And they got to figure it out. It's coming down. This is the point of the season where you don't want to start getting exposed for your flaws. And that's exactly what's happening. So I don't know. I mean, obviously they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to be there. They're probably going to do well. Who knows? They might just catch fire, like they do. But right now, it's not looking pretty.
Yeah, the defense is a problem. They gave up 6 straight touchdown drives against the 49ers, correct?
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
And then I think the Cowboys opened up with 4 straight scoring drives, 3 touchdowns and a field goal.
Yeah,
it's tough. It's tough when your defense isn't doing anything, and then your quarterback is obviously hurt in some capacity. You can tell by the way he moves, by the way he just doesn't get up off the ground after getting hit a little bit, and he stays down for a second or he limps off, whatever.
Yeah.
And then A.J. Brown just dropping footballs left and right and getting boxed by Stephon Gilmore, who is old, which apparently that's what A.J. Brown told him before the game, that he was old, and then he took that personally, obviously, because shut him down pretty good.
Interesting things going on in the NFC with those two because one is trending up, one is trending down, and I didn't expect it to be the Eagles. So
no.
Yeah, I want to make sure the Cowboys get their flowers. I mean, they're phenomenal right now. When you're getting Brandon Cooks going, I mean, trust me. I mean, I know a lot about Brandon Cooks. So does Garrett. I mean, he's trouble. He's trouble. So if you can get him working, then
that being your number 3 receiver is wild.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
So they got a lot of talent. So good things are probably coming for the Cowboys.
Yeah, that Dolphins-Cowboys game on Christmas Eve is looking like one of the more fun matchups that we're going to get in the rest of the season.
Absolutely.
So, absolutely really good.
Let's talk about the number 1 seed in the AFC currently before the Monday night games. The Baltimore Ravens got a punt return touchdown in overtime to beat the Rams. I was disappointed. I was eating a burger.
You were mad,
fries.
Huh? You were upset.
I had just finished a golf round, so I got to watch like the last quarter of the 1:00 games here in Eastern time. We're sitting there eating a burger after the golf round. It's sunny out in Miami. I'm in a good mood. Shot really well. Watching the game, the Rams are up 28-23 with about 3-4 minutes left. I was like, dude, we're chilling. Like, this is awesome. Rams are up. Like, this is going to help out home field tremendously for the Dolphins if they can continue on this trend of winning football games. And then they end up going and score down with like 2 minutes left. The Ravens do, or a minute and a half left. And then obviously they go to overtime, punt, and the second punt was the last punt because the Ravens just returned it for a touchdown. Me and Dad were just screaming, block of the back, hold, block of the back, please, something. It didn't work out in our favor. But good for the Ravens. That was a hard-fought win in the rain, gross weather in Maryland, where the Rams are not a bad football team. They're very well coached.
I was going to say the Rams, the Rams are good. I mean, the Rams, obviously if you can give a Ravens a run for their money, I mean, they're obviously one of the best teams in football right now. But for everything I saw, also, I mean, obviously this is not news, but I feel like people stop talking about it. Puka Nacua is crazy. I mean, Puka Nacua is phenomenal, and I will say I was pretty dialed in, not super dialed, but I kind of thought the Texans might take a receiver, so I was pretty dialed in on the receivers in this draft, and Puka Nacua just totally was off my radar. I don't know, I didn't know anything about this guy, and he had a crazy catch yesterday, and the Rams are just clicking, and it sucks because they're a good team, but things like this happen, like the Ravens, of course. It's just such a number one seed in the AFC thing to do is return a punt in overtime to win and just kind of take the wind out of all the Rams' sails. But yeah, I mean, shout out to the Rams. It's another team that, I mean, good game, and I don't know, the NFC is interesting, so maybe they can squeak in somewhere if they keep playing well, but I don't know.
I think they
shout out to them, but also sorry about the Ravens winning. Stoney, that sucks.
I think the Rams will sneak in. They're 6-7, but the bottom half or the bottom seedings for the NFC, they're just terrible. They're awful.
Yeah.
And the Rams have a few winnable games coming up. I think they will sneak in, and they're better than we all expected. So good on the Rams for kind of prevailing. And Sean McVay is God, he's just a phenomenal head coach. But God damn it, the Ravens are just like, can you beat them at home right now? I don't know if you can.
No.
So them having this first seed in the AFC is fucking trouble for the rest of the AFC because I don't know who else could go to the AFC and beat Baltimore right now, especially when Lamar plays like that.
Yeah.
Lamar is interesting. Lamar is so interesting to me because the days where he'll have like 150 yards and an interception and like 40 yards rushing, it's like, why aren't you playing better than that? I don't know.
Yeah.
And then he'll play like this. You'll be like, that is why I push you.
Yeah.
Like, he had an MVP performance yesterday, 300 whatever yards, 2 touchdowns, 70 yards rushing. I think a rushing touchdown or something like that. Like, he plays like that, and no one's beating him. No one's beating him at home.
There's kind of a trend going on a little bit when I've kind of joked about this on the show, but paying quarterbacks a lot of money, they finally get their big deal. Like Joe Burrow this year, obviously slow start, was solid, gets hurt. Just seems like a lot happens. Like it's kind of common that a quarterback will get their deal and then just kind of have a shitty year after that. Not Lamar. I mean, Lamar is making. I mean, he's worth every penny right now. Even the games where, like Garrett mentioned, where he 150 yards passing, 40 yards rushing, a pick, they're still getting wins. And then he'll have games like this where he needs to step up in a close game. And I mean, just fucking 3 touchdowns, 316 yards. It's crazy. I mean, he's worth every penny right now. And if I'm a Ravens fan, I'm pumped. I'm super pumped because Zay Flowers is also a dog. Like, there's a lot to look forward to right now, being a Ravens fan. So shout out to them. Shout out to paying your quarterback, and it actually working out.
Yeah, and I think that puts Lamar closer to the top 5 of MVP voting. Before the Monday night games, you got Dak, Lamar, Brock Purdy, I think is up there. And then depending on what happens tonight, either Tyreek, Tua, possibly. It's interesting. And I say this with kindness. I'm rooting for the Ravens to lose so the Dolphins can have home field advantage. And I realize how privileged that sounds because the last 3 seasons I've been relying on the other teams to lose just so the Dolphins can get the 7 seed and sneak in at 9-8. Now I'm looking at a potential number 1 seed and a first-round bye in the AFC running through Miami and Hard Rock Stadium where they are 17-1 in their last 18 games before Monday night game. I just feel special. This is special to me. I've never gotten to experience this and rooting for teams to lose so my team can have a better seed in the AFC. Never got to root for that. So
now it's a good spot to be in, but that's okay. You've gone through the pain. You deserve to be like, I want to be number 1 seed in the AFC. I hope the Texans get there soon. Seems like we're on that trend, but it's okay. You're allowed to feel that way.
You stick-to-itiveness, so fucking being rewarded. And don't the Dolphins play the Ravens and
yeah, so I was going to mention the Ravens' remaining schedule. So I think they have a Monday night game against Jacksonville next week.
Sunday night.
Oh, it's Sunday night?
Yeah, it's a Sunday night. It's next week's Sunday night game.
And then Sunday night again against the 49ers.
Yeah.
And then the next week
they have
right? Yeah. Or I guess that's Monday night. So Monday night against the Niners. And then they have a short week and have to play the Dolphins at home at 1:00 Eastern time.
They got some tough games coming up.
And then they finish the season off with the Steelers, which they don't look good right now, but it's still the Steelers. So I'm never going to count a Mike Tomlin team out.
Yeah, it's still going to be like a Big Ten slugfest when they do play. So
it's going to be a hard fought battle for the number 1 seed because the Dolphins don't have an easy schedule either. Neither do the Ravens. It's going to be interesting because if the Dolphins end up winning on Monday night, then they're both them and the Ravens are going to have a 2-game lead up on the number 1 and 2 seeds.
Yeah. The AFC picture is crazy to watch right now.
Yeah, the AFC is insane right now.
All the seedings wild right now. So watching who gets that number 1 seed, hopefully it's the Dolphins, but it's going to be interesting.
We'll see. We'll move over to the NFC for a game here. Detroit Lions, what happened?
Detroit's always going to Detroit, man. I mean, you can't take the Lions out of the Lions. You know,
I know,
they're gonna be a first round exit. They're gonna be a first round exit. This is so Detroit. You know, remember when Matthew Stafford had his like big 2011 season where it's like, they have Jim Schwartz now. They're fucking good. Calvin Johnson's so good. Oh man, the Lions are so good. Get blown out in the first round against the Saints. And then every year after that, it was either mediocrity or they get in the playoffs and lose in the wild card. Or in 2014, when they have Jim Caldwell, they go and play Detroit in the wild card, and they fucking lose a close one to Tony Romo in the Magic in Jerry's world. So it's so Lions to have such a hot start, be like NFC favorites, and then just putter out at the end of the year, just stop dead in the water, stop dead in your tracks.
And along the same lines, and I hate to say it because I love him, but you can't take the Jared Goff out of Jared Goff. I mean, 2 picks, 161 yards, 1 touchdown. I mean, the leading receiver had 44 yards. I mean, that's tough. I mean, that's tough, especially against a Bears team that isn't like that. They're just not like that. And it's going to be interesting to see those. I like the Lions. I hate that this happened. I saw this, and I hated to see that. Dan Campbell's Coach of the Year. It's probably going to –
Oh, they're gone. They're gone. He's not – he's done.
Yeah. But that opens the door for one DeMeco Ryans, perhaps, even though he just lost to the Jets 30-6. But
we'll see.
Yeah. We will see. But I mean, shout out him. But also, like, I want to give credit where it's due. I mean, shout out to the Bears. No one's given them any type of credit all season. I mean, they haven't really deserved it, but I mean, they do today. I mean, that was a big win for them.
The Chicago Bears haven't won back-to-back games since 2021.
Yeah,
Justin Fields actually looks good at football, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, good day for him
because they have an advantage here. They have the number 1 pick, not sealed up, but pretty much sealed up. The Panthers probably aren't going to win another game. So they're going to have the number 1 pick, and then they're going to have their own pick. And if they end up around 500, maybe they're in the middle of the pack, 15, 12, somewhere out there in the draft with their own pick. They can play around and just see if they've got a guy in Justin Fields. And then if you've got a guy, you trade that number 1 pick and you reload up on more picks and move down to like the 6th spot or the 7th spot and pick up an offensive tackle or Marvin Harrison Jr. or something like that. Like, get a little wacky with it, add some weapons, build around Justin Fields. You can do that, or you can reload, get your new quarterback, trade Justin Fields for a 3rd rounder or a 2nd rounder, whatever it may be, and get going on that. So they're in a really good spot because they can win games and not really be affected by their draft position because they're going to end up with the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out the Bears for having already a way better season than last season.
Yeah.
Justin Fields kind of playing for his job right now, and he's excelling. He's doing well. And if they finish strong, which they have the Browns next week, but after that, some winnable games, I'd say, if they're playing like this, they might just fuck around, and Matt Eberflus might just stay on board. You know, they might buy into what he's selling in the second half of the season, which they've been not bad, honestly, in the second half.
Yeah.
And fucking, I don't know. They might fuck around and just keep them on. You know? I don't know. Shout out the Bears for saving it.
I read a stat. Since trading for Montez Sweat, I believe it was top 11 in every statistical category on defense since trading for Montez Sweat. And Montez Sweat was like fine with the Commanders. For some reason, him and Chase Young weren't like good. They get traded to new teams, and all of a sudden, they're everything that everyone expected out of them. Like Chase Young looks incredible on the 49ers.
Washington's a real problem. Washington's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, we always knew that.
Yeah,
we've always known that.
But Chase Young being good on the 49ers, that's credit to the 49ers for having like every superstar available ever and having an incredible defense and great coaching staff. Chicago, we were like, what the fuck are we doing trading for Montez Sweat? What's the point? I don't get it. And then they paid him immediately. And we're like, whoa, what are we doing? All of a sudden, Montez Sweat has 3.5 sacks in 5 games. Not like eye-bulging numbers, but good nonetheless. But the rest of the defense has kicked into gear. And Matt Eberflus might be saving his job. Like if he wins 7 games this year, 6 games, do you think they keep him along and Justin Fields like plays well the rest of the season? They keep him, and all of a sudden you're building with like more weapons or building through the offensive line. I don't know.
I think so.
I think so too. I think you're right. I think you mentioning Marvin Harrison Jr., grabbing Justin Fields, a true number one. Matt Eberflus obviously buying in. If the guys can buy into what he's preaching and what he's doing, sure. Now, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what receivers are available because Marvin Harrison Jr., off topic, I don't know if y'all saw this, reportedly has a fucking NIL deal worth $25 million to stay at Ohio State this year or next season.
He's not gonna do that because he
25
he
is crazy.
25 is more than he'll make more in college. He'll make more money in college.
I think if you're number one pick nowadays, like
no, that's like their rookie deal.
Yeah,
I think Tua's rookie deal was like 27 for the 5th pick.
No, yeah, they're like, and Ohio State's going to try to keep him around another year, and they're going to pay him whatever it takes. But if I'm a Marvin Harrison Jr., I'm looking at that. I'm like, look, I'm playing against college teams for another season. Just really pad my college stats. I'm going to make $25 million while I'm doing it. Why not? So we'll see. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with the Bears. But credit to the Bears, like they've been playing well. I don't know what changed in the locker room. What happened with the coaching staff? Like I don't know what flipped a switch because they looked god awful earlier this season, and now they look okay, which is a tremendous improvement.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, shout out because it could have been way worse. This finish could have been abysmal for them, and they've kind of like this turned into a fun little team who can like beat good teams if they want. So shout out.
Last game of the day that we're going to talk about, the Browns beat the Jacksonville Jaguars 31-27. The Joe Flacco game, I think he had 303 touchdowns.
Yeah. Hey, dude, Joe Flacco just getting brought from his mom's house off his couch.
Jaguars, you just got Flaccoed. You just got Flaccoed, bro. Dude,
you just
listen,
go
dude. 311 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Is it 2009? Is it 2009 right now? What are we doing? He's been named the starter for the rest of the season. Guys, Joe Flacco has the opportunity to do the funniest thing of all time. And that's win a fucking Super Bowl.
For our fucking viewers who, if you're fucking 8 years old and you don't know about Joe Flacco like 10 years ago, Joe Flacco, every time he got in the playoffs, was the best quarterback I've ever seen in my life.
Dude, dog.
Every time he gets in the playoffs, he's fucking money. So if Joe Flacco starts in the playoffs for the Cleveland Browns, are we going to see like a renaissance?
Guys, the Browns are 8-5.
They're probably going to play
right now.
They're probably going to play Jacksonville in that 4-5 matchup as well.
Yeah.
Which you just proved that you can win. And then it'll be warmer. Yeah. It won't be super cold outside. You get to go to Jacksonville where it's probably going to be in the 50s or the 60s as opposed to like the 30s. Yeah, it'd be delightful if you're a Browns fan.
I am such a Browns fan with Joe Flacco at the helm. Like, I think they're
okay.
Dude, with Joe Flacco at the helm,
we still have their pick, man. Come on,
that's
dude.
valid. That is true. I didn't really.
Come on, dude.
You're right, but it's fun. Look, dude, I hate the Browns especially when Nasty Man's playing. But you put fucking Joe Flacco, dude. That's fun. I just feel It feels nice. It feels like, that golden era of quarterbacks. Like, I feel like I still get a little glimpse into the past a little bit when Joe Flacco's throwing for fucking 303 touchdowns. Like, that's fun. Like, I don't know. Like, I get it. We have their pick. You're right. Good point. But also, I'm a huge fan of them beating the Jags. Please and thank you. Do that. I love that. So they're fun. They're fun to watch. And that defense, Trevor threw 3 picks. Trevor threw 3 picks, dog.
Can we, Trevor Lawrence, look at me right here. I'm looking into the camera. I'm looking into you, Trevor Lawrence. You're not the golden boy. You're not the golden child. You're not sunshine. You're not the guy. You're just not that guy. You're fine. You're good. You're not great. You're not great. You're just fine.
Yep. I've been trying to tell. I've been trying to say. I don't know where this bogus came from of Trevor Lawrence being a top 5 guy. I don't know where that came from.
Well, let's also. It came
from you.
I only read. No, it did. It did. Let's read the other part of the stat line too. He did the 3 picks, but he also threw 3 touchdowns.
That's not cool, man. All right, the whole
cool
thing.
It's not good, but it's also like I don't want to leave that out. I just don't want to leave that out. I'm not going to read half of his stat line. He threw 3 touchdowns, but he did throw 3 picks, which sucks. And also, it sucks. Maybe he shouldn't have played this week.
Counterpoint. 3 touchdowns, 3 picks is awesome if you are
a winner. A win.
Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston was the answer there.
Jameis. Okay.
That would be really cool. If you do that, that's awesome. Jameis Winston. If anyone else does it, it's like that meme. It's like, "Hey, cutie, how are you?" And it's the guy standing at the desk, and it's a slim figure guy, and then it's like, "Hi, beautiful, gorgeous, like, lovely to see you today," and it's a big fat guy, and he's like, "HR, please."
Right.
That's what that meme is. This is Jameis Winston versus Trevor
Jameis does that. I'm like, dude, GOAT.
That was sick. Yeah.
Jameis 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. I'm like, that's vintage. That's just classic Jameis.
Yeah, right dude, that's 2019. That's 30-30 right there. Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence does it. We're like, wow, okay, bro.
Yeah,
fucking
dude. Better learn
go
Canadian,
pray,
buddy. No. go learn Canadian, buddy.
Yeah, dude.
No, he's not.
Shout out to the Browns for beating the Jags. That's very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, it was a fun game to watch. Caught the last quarter of that as well. Unfortunately for you guys, you couldn't beat the Jets, and really propel yourself into the AFC South contention. So I'm a little sad about that. I was really rooting for you, and I looked at the score. Probably in the second quarter, third quarter. I can't remember. It was 14-0.
Yeah,
I was like, that's not great.
Quarter. And it was 0-0 going at halftime.
Yeah, and then one point, I saw Garrett say something in the group chat that I probably shouldn't say for YouTube algorithm sakes, but he said something. I was like, oh, that's not good. That's not good. And then I looked, and then C.J. Stroud gets knocked out of the game, and it was a whole thing. But if you want more of the Texans breakdown, go to Off the Gridiron on our YouTube channel, Apollo HOU. Yeah, no.
It was a fun one today, boys. Get ready. Hey, tune in for some good vibes.
Real good vibes.
Yeah.
But that was week 14. I'm going to the Dolphins game tonight at Hard Rock Stadium. There's going to be a drone show, allegedly.
Whoa.
It's a night game in Hard Rock. First drone show of the season. I'm excited.
That's actually going to be badass. Now, let me ask you this, Tony. The reason why we're recording this today and not tomorrow, which would be Tuesday, which would be the day this comes out, is it because you're going to get a little shit hammered?
No, it's because I've got a flight in the morning, and I don't know if it's going to get delayed or what time I'm going to get home and all that kind of stuff. I just wanted to wait. I just wanted to make sure that we got this done for the listener and the viewer on our YouTube channel. That they were able to
you're gonna be
listen
hungover.
And watch to us.
You're getting shit hammered
about football. I'm going to have plenty of pineapple tequilas tonight. I will tell you that, boys. I'm going to eat that. I'm going to have oysters and sushi probably in the 72 Club. I'm going to do it all. Maybe some chicken tenders and burgers and fries. Pizza, maybe some prime rib.
You're going to eat, what? You're going to eat everything? Why are you eating? You're not going to eat all that.
It's buffet style. I don't know. I'll
send y'all pictures. Corral? What the fuck?
I'll send y'all pictures. We'll keep that in the group chat. But I'm going to have plenty of pineapple tequilas. I'll tell you that right now.
Good, as you should, sir. The team you are seeing is good. So
it's my Dolphins.
You should enjoy yourself. Yeah. And if y'all let the Titans win,
I'll do what Garrett said in the group chat yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. You should. You should
I'll
definitely do that. And also, I'm not gonna. That's not okay. You're gonna hear about it. You're gonna hear about that for a while. Yeah.
That'll be my 13th reason.
Yeah, it should be. That's a hint at what Garrett said in the group chat.
Yes. That
Sports
was
fans,
week
sports
14. Week 14 review. We watched a lot of football this weekend. We had a lot of fun. Sometimes, well, after the 1 o'clock, we had a little bit more fun. Play Action Takes, brought to you by Zing Zang. Blaze and Bloody Mary Mix. Go get it today. Enjoy your holidays with a little bit of spice. Blaze and Bloody Mary Mix from Zing Zang. And if you need Christmas gifts, go to celebritymint.com. Go check out all the sick collectibles that they have of Ric Flair, Mike Tyson, and more. Thank you for sponsoring this episode. This has been Play Action Takes, brought to you by Apollo Media.
Apollo Media. You know what? It's a new week. It's a new day. The Texans game is the past. On to week 15.
Never even happened.
Looks like Davis Mills might be starting next week for the Texans. All right, everybody.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, dude.
That's what Noah wanted at the beginning of the season anyway.
Yeah, dude.
All right.
Shut up.
This has been Play Action Takes. We will watch some more football later this week.
Watch football. Do that.